I'm so Hollywood, lights, camera, action. You know the cameras flashing when I'm passing.
Welcome to the Highlight Reel. I am your host, Lester Green.
And I'm Nas Panky.
Absolutely. And this is part 2 of the conversation with Lorayn DeLuca and Cylk Cozart, where they were talking about Inherit the Land, this wonderful documentary that talks about coexisting with different races and living together. Let's see what else they have to say.
The Banquet honored Hollywood actor and Knoxville native Cylk Cozart, celebrating his success and his own personal testimony to what diversity means to him.
I really wanted to talk about empathy. And I think this country has a lack of empathy. And I think when you have empathy, if you can put yourself in someone's place, I don't think you'll be as quick to judge, quick to hurt anyone or any of that. I think that's really important.
Well, you want to tell them what character you're playing in our film, in our documentary, by the way, which I haven't told them the style of how I want to shoot it. I'll go over a little bit of that, but tell them the character you're playing, and I'll tell them kind of the style of how I'm going to shoot it.
Awesome. This character that I'm playing in the documentary is a woman from the North, comes down to buy a horse farm that she hears about in North Carolina somewhere. So she's wealthy. She comes down, she buys this horse farm, and she sees, the blacks getting along with the whites, So she's going,
God forbid.
Right.
She's going, what's going on down here?
What the hell's going on?
That's a good line.
Happening.
It is.
The cotton pickers, and they were slaves. And here it was. There was a black woman right at my farm, and I invited her up to have tea on my porch. And I said, look at this, look at your town, how wonderful it is, right? I never knew such a thing, right? So this sassy woman is just pure love as well.
That's cool. And because of I call it the pandemic, but because of that.
Yes.
But because of that,
I love it, pandemic.
Doggone it. I can't say what I want to say, but I'll say pandemic. But that's what they call it. Yeah. And so because of that, we had a wonderful scene set up to where there's 100 people to come in the courtroom to testify, and it's like the crescendo of the piece where, where they finally, the land is bequeathed to the black family. And the judge is, surprised, and the attorneys are surprised, everybody. So because of the virus, we're trying to make it more of a different type of energy with pictures and sketch artists. We're talking to a few sketch artists. We're not saying who because we're still negotiating with them, but to make that a dramatic piece to lead up to that with just the sketching, because we have photos of a lot of the people that were there. Awesome. So, and I wanted to shoot, if I had all the money I wanted to do the movie with, if somebody said, here's $10 million, make your documentary, which it doesn't cost $10 million, but if I had $10 million to make the movie, I would shoot the whole thing in black and white, the film, okay?
Wow.
I would shoot the film in black and white because to get the colors and the nuances is almost impossible unless you were really there, unless you know exactly those colors and tones. Mm-hmm. And so you shoot it black and white, I can manipulate those colors. You know what I mean? And so I'm narrating the film. So throughout the film, you might see me in different wardrobes of that time, what I would be wearing at that time. And we'll find the music and everything. We're gonna have original music. So it's gonna be fun creating this film with Jean, Lorayn, and Jimmy, and a host of other people. So we want to be creative, and I think that's a way. And it cuts down the budget too. We don't have to pay 100 actors. Those actors, oh my God.
And I'm always fighting for the actors.
Right.
No, me too.
I know. But I think your vision, Cylk, I think is just awesome. The black and white, I think is going to be beautiful back in that time, and maybe some sepia in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right?
And so, people didn't have loud colors. in that area. They did in New York, Chicago, around that. But in that area, it was very drab. Everybody wore black or white or grays. Occasionally, you might see a little light pink, a woman in church with the, hazel or something in, but it wasn't like loud in that area. So I want to get it as authentic as possible. So anyway, you can't tell that I'm not. You can't tell that I don't have any passion for this project, right?
None whatsoever. Zero.
Well,
you should see my bedroom. I've got notes all over the wall. My dog looks at me like, really? Really?
Well, speaking of passion, you have a foundation that helps kids. And I always say, you're not hungry until you pick up dirt with your hands and eat it, right?
Oh.
And so like Lorayn, I have a passion for animals. They call me the cat woman, the dog woman, and I take in
too.
I love her already.
The strays. I have a passion for for all animals, but especially the strays. I'm the one that keeps all the stray cats in the neighborhood. I take care of the dogs. I'll take a turtle, like any animal without a home. I pull them in. And that stems from my childhood. I know it does, because it's something about me that I don't want to see anyone out there on the street or anyone without.
That's called empathy, by the way.
Empathy, yes. So Cylk, you have passion for the youth. Can you tell me where does that stem from? And tell us a little bit about your foundation.
Yes. First of all, I was adopted. And I knew who my mother was. I mean, she's with me here, but at that time, it was very tough because she was a very young mother, teenage. So I learned early on how people treated other people, especially with kids. So I just developed an affinity for children and like you said, those that, you don't have to be a child, but those that don't have a voice. And I remember I visited in Kenya for a project, and I stayed there for a long time, and I wanted to go deep into the bush, as they say. I wanted to go way in there, and they wouldn't let me. They said, "Oh no, tourists don't go." I said, "I'm not a tourist," So I convinced them to go in a little further, and I came upon these children that were so young. They were like 5 and 6 and 7 years old, raising themselves. And they'd have to go get food, have to go get, figure out how to stay warm and protect themselves. And I thought, we have no idea how good we have it. People don't travel. They don't leave their own little comfort zone, and they try to save the world and answer all the questions from that little cubicle. But when you go out, it's the best education in the world. So that sparked something in me, and I said, I whatever I got to do, I want to use whatever celebrity I have, whatever wealth I generate, whatever communication skills I have. I'm going to develop something that's going to actually bring people together to talk about how I'm not saying we can save everything, but you're not going to do anything until you communicate and realize. And so I thought, let me start there. So that's kind of where that came from. And it's grown. Martin Luther King III, Martin Luther King's eldest son, is my partner, a business partner. And we traveled so many places, and we speak. And quick story. I mean, here's a man that is intelligent, who is never really endorsed. You don't see his name out there on everything, because he wanted to feel that he didn't want to, hurt his father's image. I told him, you can't hurt your father's image. You might hurt your image. You can't hurt his image. It's already set,
It's solidified.
So he said, and I said, so, let's do some things. So we're doing cures for humanity. We're having clean water generated from the Earth's atmosphere. Condensation. We get 20% of the Earth's water comes from condensation in the morning. You can capture that water, put it above a cylinder. As it rotates through the night, it's watered, and your plants are sideways, halfway this way, halfway upside down. Every hour they generate and they move, so they grow faster inside. So we've developed things like that, and we go into neighborhoods where nobody wants to go, and we mentor these kids. And I let them see me. I let them know, yeah, I'm a movie star. Yeah, I'm a basketball player. You too. Look at that. Yeah, I'm playing with them. I get there and I write with them. I don't just talk to them and never see them again. That doesn't work. So I know I went around the corner to get across the street, but you get what I'm saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love it. And I commend you for what you're doing for our youth. Thank you so much.
I do.
Yeah, I wanna address the youth, and maybe Lorayn and you too, Cylk, can answer this question.
Yeah.
But I feel like lately there's been a hit on rappers. You have young rappers who are getting assassinated in the streets, and it's not so much by other races, it's black on black violence. And I just wanted to ask the both of you, how do you feel about just rappers and the rap culture facing these trying times? Do you guys listen to rap music? Do you know? Because like people like Little Boozy, he was shot recently. Mo3 was killed. King Von was killed. All these rappers are endangered species. Can you guys talk to us about that and how you feel about it?
I can go ahead, Lorayn.
Okay.
I have something to say about
I have to honestly, I don't listen to rap music. I'm sorry, but I do listen to the news and I do hear what's going on, and it's just unbelievable. And that's again education, feeling, going back to our hearts, what's in our hearts. That we all are one. We all come from the same place. Listen, I went on mission trips with my church to Belize, and I saw little kids walking with no shoes, nothing to eat, and I brought them food. And I did it as a visual artist. I helped make a documentary for our church, and I saw how those people lived. And then they were sitting around and they were singing and laughing and playing drums on a crazy cardboard. And I'm saying, how could they do that? But they found the happiness in their area. That you could say, why are they happy? Look what they have. Look what they don't have. So I understand that point too. Yeah. But coming back to the music, Cylk, maybe you can.
I think, well, what I think mainly about rap music, I listen to all music because it's an expression. And when they were trying to ban rap music, I thought that was a mistake because they're rapping about their experience. They're rapping and that would anger them. And they might be rapping about coming down to your neighborhood. You might want to know what they're saying, just in case.
Right.
So for a lot of reasons. So I try to understand our youth. In fact, as you know, you probably read on my things that I do. I go all over the world speaking specifically for these people, children that people don't want to talk to. I went into this, Martin King and I went into this school, and there was 4 schools that came together to hear us. So it was a few thousand people there, kids and their parents and teachers. And the first thing I did, I saw everybody dressed the way they dressed. You had the pants sagging and all that. And I said, so why is everybody wearing your pants down like this, showing your underwear? And they were like, it's the style, man, it's the style. And I said, well, one must be careful what style they follow if you don't know why. I said, it's a sign in prison that means you're available for an inmate, for one.
Wow.
And it started in slavery, whereas the slave masters that like to be with young boys would call them bucks, and they would break them by having sex with them. And then after that, to humiliate them, they would put them out now amongst the other slaves, but they had to be dressed a certain way to humiliate them, to show the other slave masters that, oh, there's one we can get. Oh, there's another one. So that's the reality.
I did not know that.
No, well, they obviously didn't know that. So that's why I say you got to be careful. And that slave mentality came into our prison system because of what happened right after slavery. They put, people didn't have a job or an address. Well, you're loitering. So, look at the 13th Amendment. So we went right back. 80% of our black men went back into prison. And our black women had to raise the children. And then they said, well, they're uneducated. They're I'm like, what? Really? So it's something that started back then. You can't fix anything in the middle of the middle. I always say you got to go to the beginning. If you go to a doctor and you say, my elbow hurts, he's not going to start injecting you with nothing. He's not going to start telling you what it should be.
Back
He's
to
going to say
history.
your history, your parents are they susceptible to that? What he's
Right.
going to at least do that. So that's the same mentality that we should approach our children, our youth, our future, basically.
Yes. Wow.
Thank you. I just want to say, you know,
Yeah.
I was kind of tearing up when you was talking about you and Martin Luther King Jr. going into the neighborhoods and speaking to the youth, because I come from a time when there was no one coming to the South Bronx during the mid 80s to speak to the youth. And a lot of things that I learned in life, I had to learn on my own. And I'm still learning as an adult. So it just really moves me and it inspires me so much to know that things are changing and there are people that are helping, that are a part of that change, that are giving to the ones that are, I would say, less advantaged, because oftentimes they are forgotten about. So thank you. I have a question for Lorayn, and I have for Mama Luca's media. Okay, which is photography and media company that you have, and you said something. You said basically you said I am stopping time for you. You consider it a privilege to sharing special moments with your photography. So one of your quotes is, during that time you can't get those moments back, and you said I am stopping time for you. And that resonated with me because I know I always say time is something that can't be recycled. You can't get back. And I'm like, but it can be stopped and it can be recycled.
Isn't that a great quote?
Through those memories of photography.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to know if you would share one special, what the most special moment that you had, you know, from your photography, for a picture, a moment, or something where you actually stop time and you remember it, it stays with you. Can you share just one moment with us?
Sure. I would thank you. I would have to say, well, I lost my mother at a young age, and I was taking care of her. She was very sick, and I wish that I had more pictures of her, you know. And I have these little black and white pictures, and they're all crumbly, and I look at them all the time. I have them, and they're so precious. These moments are so precious that people don't know. And when I say I'm taking my father used to take pictures all the time. He was a veteran in the Army. He was a medic in World War II, and he came back a hero. His leg was blown, and he came back, and he worked in bricklaying and stuff like that, and then building houses, but he really loved to be a photographer. And when he was in Germany, he bought a camera, a Brownie camera, and he brought it home. And it was passed down to me. I have his Brownie camera now, and on my logo and on my shirt is that brown camera. No one knows what that is. That's my father's camera. You know, that's a real picture of his camera. Now, he used to come home, and he had from working all day and all night, and then we used to get us out on the Sunday mornings going to church in our Sunday best, 6 kids standing on the lawn, and he had a movie camera in one hand and a still camera on the other. And then he would hold the camera up and he would go, move, move, move. All 6 kids and my mother walking back and forth on the lawn. We just said, this is his movie camera. And then stop. And then he would take the pictures. He loved doing it. And then what we did after that, my mother made a big sauce, and she made this gravy, and the smell of the meatballs frying and the Italian bread. My brother worked in Mamriella's bakery. He brought home the Italian bread hot with the butter on it. And we had that, you know, and we had all our cousins and aunts and uncles come over. I don't see them anymore. A lot of them are gone. And since my mother left, we hadn't been in touch with all my family. So I was kind of only child, basically. But anyway, these moments of sitting around and eating, and then while we were eating, and my grandfather made wine, so he had the grapes, and we would make the wine, and we had gallons of red wine. They would put it in the baby bottles for the kids, and we would be arrested.
I wish I'd have grown up there.
They used to give us the red wine, and then my mother gave us coffee. And I would went back and forth. That's why I'm so anal today, right, Lester? I don't know why. But, you know, one of those things going on. But those moments, we sat down on this big table. My father built us. He said, I'm going to build a house bigger than Elvis Presley's house. So we moved from Brooklyn to Queens to Long Island, and he built us a 24-room house with a built-in pool and cabanas. He worked so hard for this. And then we had this house, but we always stayed in the basement, the unfinished basement. And contractors never finish what they're doing personally, right? They do everybody else's houses. So we all stayed in the basement, but I loved the basement. We stayed with these cement floors, and we would sit there with all the food, and the walls were white. So my father would show the movie pictures on the white wall while we were eating, and we would laugh and cry. These are my memories, Naz. These are my memories that I don't have anymore. And they were fleeting moments that I still, and I'm starting to cry now thinking about it.
I'm starting to cry too.
So family photos. So I had to take up his reign and take my photography. So I've been doing it forever. 25 years. I've been doing it on the side with whatever I'm doing, but doing that, creating photographs in Belize when I went on these mission trips of these little kids, their faces, just so beautiful. Those portraits are now hanging in my church in big 12 by 16 canvases on the walls when I walk down and see those faces of those babies and the families. You can't imagine it, how important that is. And only till you lose it do you realize, and it's terrible to say, and Cylk, with your mom, how precious that is that she's with you in your house, says it all. I wish I could have my mom today. You know, I hope I answered your question, Naz, but.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I have one last question for both of you in a sense.
Yeah.
Moving forward and just building a legacy. Cylk, I know you have your whiskey line. I know we didn't talk about that.
No,
but can you talk to us
what makes you think that? A whiskey.
Wait, where can we get that? Where can we get that?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Wait, Cylk, next time you come to North Carolina, you better bring a couple of those. You're coming over to my house.
I know. Well, you know what? I forgot. I should be talking about this. Sorry, Gene. But anyway, no.
Yeah.
We in January, February, I think we're gonna have that.
We're gonna launch it.
Awesome.
Right.
Because of the pandemic, it kind of pushed some things around, and so we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it really come out kind of Tennessee, and then the South, and then the rest of the area. Hopefully, we'll get it out there.
Posted on that. We'll definitely support that.
And I'll get you guys some. Don't worry about that.
All right, cool.
All right.
And then Lorayn
got a beer called Country Roads. Our new beer.
Is that
nice?
Well, yes, it is, and you're going to be seeing it. West Virginia, we're launching it in West Virginia first because of the song Country Roads.
Oh,
John Denver sang West Virginia. So my business partner, Rick Clark, who basically created it, and his mother's not with us anymore, but it's a great story there with him and his mom. And this is the reason he brought me in. So he and I are the owners of the new Country Roads beer you're gonna be hearing about. Amber Ale and a golden lager. So that's coming soon.
Awesome.
And Lorayn,
Thank
I know
you.
you have your website. You're getting ready to launch your website.
Yes.
Now, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. Lester helped me with that, and you just we make a great team. I tell you,
we do.
We worked so hard on that. It's just LoraynDeLuca.com. Everybody come see me, and you can follow me on Instagram. I have everybody wants to know things. I just post what I'm doing next, and actually I'm working on web series right now. It's a dark comedy. So going from The Witch to this dark comedy is fun. You know, I play Pearl, who's the owner of Pearl's Place, a comedy club. And it's about a homeless guy who tells the funniest joke ever and how he wants to make it to stardom with that. But of course, there's twists and turns with the mob, who I may or may not be part of.
You're Italian. What are you talking about? That's not racist. That's not racist.
It was good casting, right? It's good casting for that one.
Yeah.
And so
But she's a colorful woman, and that's a lot of fun. So I'm doing that now. I'm looking forward to working on that too.
Yeah. So Nas has an incredible story. I just think all three of you should get together and possibly talk about it, because it's quite moving. You should definitely hear her story. Nas.
I would love to.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's set something up where we can talk about that.
Okay, that would be that's great. Thank you. You know, Lester's nickname is the Connector. What he just did,
Lester the Connector.
I didn't see it coming, but you know, Lester is called we all call him the Connector. But yes, that would be awesome. Thank you. I would love to share my story.
Connector. That's it.
Exactly. But listen, you guys have been awesome.
Okay.
I actually cried during this interview, so I know people are going to be moved by it. We really appreciate your time, and thank you for being here on Highlight Reel.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you, guys.
Today, we celebrate the great Lee Daniels. There was a scene from Empire where a young boy was walking down the steps in heels, and Terrence Howard's character, who plays the father, saw this. Clearly, the boy was out and gay, and the father reacted by throwing him into the trash can. For me, seeing that scene and knowing how powerful the message was, it really inspired me. Because of you, Lee Daniels, I am able to put my sexuality into my art, into my music. I am able to speak from my heart, and I am able to be the real me. I present to you Regular Person by none other than Lester Green. Thank you, Lee Daniels. Magnum P.I. in Levi's, he's so fly. I'm at home on my phone. I get so off on your tone. Let's talk, sex talk. I might need Matlock back up. I'm backed up, shoot my wad. Oh my God, summer salt. Beat it up, clean it up. Take a hot shower, louder, Matt Lauer, sour. Can you feed me grapes? Ed Norton got it going on. You can blow on my horn all night long. Cop in the uniform, wanna turn on. What's wrong? Weird, queer, Richard Gere. Whisper something in my ear. I don't know the way the wind blows. Who am I don't.
Thank you for joining us on the Highlight Reel. I am your host, Nas Panky.
And I'm Lester Green.
Hey, join us every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, peace, love, and popcorn.